mathioli charanam, Jainandalala. Today is a very special day. The topic is, it's so beautiful, and it's a privilege. I'm honored and I'm humbled to be talking about this beautiful form, the most fearful, most powerful form of Lord Shiva, Kala Bhairavar. It's very, a lot of people are very intimidated by this form because they don't really understand it. They've not gone to the roots of it. A lot of people are scared. Most of them don't even have him in their house because they're scared of that form. It's like Kali, right? The Ambal form is Kali and the Shivan form is Kala Bhairavar. The most fearful, fierce, powerful. Kala Bhairavar is the one who has consumed time itself. So we can imagine what that means. I mean, we can't even imagine because it's the other way around for us, right? We are consumed by time. Huh? We have no idea how time flows. Before we blink and we see the whole day is gone by. But here is Kala Bhairava, who has consumed time itself. So you can imagine if you can. It's not possible to even comprehend that. That's how powerful he is. They say it's the most wrathful form of Lord Shiva. So when Shiva gets angry, he does not go to do all this job of beating someone up and, he has the Bhairava. He sends Bhairava for it. The first time we see Bhairava in our scriptures emerging is when Lord Brahma and Lord Vishnu are having this debate. A lot of scriptures and a lot of books say argument about who is most powerful. Now, it's not an argument, it's a debate. Most of the times those days and between gods, it's always a debate. They always have a healthy debate. So when that debate was happening, they were so focused. And we have spoken about this during our Tiruvannamalai session. So if you want to hear about that in detail, you can go and listen to the Tiruvannamalai part 1, where I have stated this whole story. I'm not going to repeat that here. So here, when going to jump into the space where we need to see where Kala Bhairava comes in. So we know that Lord Brahma lies. He lies that he went up and he saw the head, right? Where it starts, where the light pole ends on the top. So he says, I saw that. The debate was whoever went first to either ends, the topmost end or the bottommost end, feet. Vishnu came back, saying, I give up, I can't. But Lord Brahma lied. And I went to key explanations of that also. So when he lied, Lord Shiva got angry. Lord Shiva got very angry that he being in that position. I also said that when you're in a higher position, when you've given that most biggest responsibility of something. And if you don't heed to the rules, you are going to face bigger punishments than other people. Because you've been put in that position for a reason. If you misuse it, the punishments are more severe. So Brahma also had 5 heads. So Lord Shiva, with his third eye, through his third eye, Kala Bhairavar emerged. See, even that small job Kala Bhairavar did. And I believe in the stories, it says that he plucked his head, which I also mentioned, plucked with his nail. He didn't use any weapon. So with his nail, he took off one head. So Kala Bhairava emerged at that scene. So even for that small job, Lord Shiva didn't lift a finger. To lift a finger also, Kala Bhairava, because he plucked his head. He didn't use a sword or any weapon. So that is the first time he emerged, and they say that that time was the Kartigai Masam, which I also explained very clearly. The same day which the Lingam also manifested, right, in Tiruvannamalai. So that is the same time Kala Bhairava also emerged, and during the same time. So Kartigai Masam is very, very auspicious for Kala Bhairava also. So that is the 8th day after Paurnami is when he is celebrated and worshipped. So now what happens? He plucked one head of Brahma. The head did not fall. The head got stuck to his hand. Whose hand? Kala Bhairava's. See, I've always told you, any god, or no matter who it is, they do something, they have to do prayaschitta. So even gods cannot run away from it. Who are we? We keep saying, Amma, please forgive whatever I've done. Just forget it. I will do good going forward. There is no escape. No Amma or no Appa can save. Even for the truth, even when evil has to be destroyed, still there's prayaschitta. Lord Rama also, he destroyed evil, but he had to do prayaschitta. Lord Krishna also. Anybody, even the lords have to go through it. Poor thing, think about it. They're doing good only, but still they go through it. Karma does not leave anyone. So who are we to go and have a begging bowl for forgiveness? So here is Kala Bhairava stuck with Brahma's head. Huh? He's roaming the whole world with his head dangling in his hand. It's not letting go. It's the karma. It's stuck. So he keeps wandering for so many, many, many years. And then he comes to Varanasi. That is when the head drops. Finally drops. Forgiven. That is why even till today, Varanasi is the place where people want to go. They feel like all their sins are going to vanish over there. Not so easily. No. Kala Bhairava wandered for many, 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 many years, and then he came to Varanasi. We did not wander for many, many years. So we cannot even think the same way. I'm just saying that also so that everybody's clear. So he comes to Varanasi and the head drops. And Lord Shiva tells him to settle there. Where else have we heard about Kala Bhairava emerging? This is one place where the Brahma and Vishnu, they were debating, and Lord Brahma lost his head. He appeared over there. The next where he appears in our scriptures is in the story of Sati, our own Devi, who was first as Sati, Daksha Prajapati's daughter. Now, there, when she wanted to attend the yagam that her father was performing, her father was Daksha, who was a big devotee of Lord Vishnu. He literally hated Lord Shiva. It's the only word. He did not like him at all. But his daughter, according to him, unfortunately, fell in love with Lord Shiva. She liked him. She loved him. So he had no other go but to get her married. He was not happy. And he found every reason to insult Lord Shiva at every given opportunity. So this opportunity he had where he was performing a very, very major yagam, a homam, where he invited all the gods, all the celestial beings were invited. Dakshar. Dakshar is the son of Brahma, one of the sons of Brahma. And he invited all the gods. All of them are there attending the big yaga. But he did not invite Lord Shiva or Sati. Sati is Ambal. Sati was very upset, disappointed, and she saw this whole thing unwinding, but she wanted to go and ask them directly, why did you omit us? Why didn't you call us? She comes to Lord Shiva and she asks for his permission. She says, I'm going to go for the yaga. Lord Shiva says, I understand you want to go, but it's my suggestion that don't go. Because if you go, you'll be very hurt. He says, please don't go. Because they're going to hurt you more. But she got angry. She said, you can't ask me not to go. It's my parents' place. So he says, okay, I will send Nandi with you. You go with him. And so Nandi takes her to the yagam. And over there, she found that nobody even noticed her. Nobody gave a heed to her. They didn't even glance at her. Nobody welcomed her. She dropped her head and she went till where the yagam was taking place. And she stood there and she asked her father, what happened? No one is even looking at me. What did I do wrong? Why are you all insulting me and my Lord? What did he do? And there was no reply. She said she was so angry. That's when the Ambal anger came out. And she said, you are so proud of this yagam, right? I will destroy it right now. That is why her name is Daksha Yagna Vinashini. She destroyed that yagam. She jumped into that fire. That I have explained before. Even the Lord, the fire god, could not burn her because she is Ambal. She ordered him to burn her. You burn me right now, she says. And that's how she was burnt to ashes. That's when Nandi gave a curse to all the gods. We have spoken about this also in one of the sessions. Nandi was there witnessing all this, so helpless. He cursed all the gods over there. You all will come to a point where you need my Lord for help. You will all come and fall at his feet, which happened. Which happened later. So now comes the climax. Lord Shiva enters. He sees the ashes, his Sati, his beloved, and he couldn't bear it. The anger emerges, and that's when he takes a strand from his hair and he drops it, and that's when Bhairava comes. Kala Bhairavar. That's the second time he appears. And he chops off Daksha Prajapati's head. So Lord Shiva doesn't do anything. Again, whenever he gets angry, the Kala Bhairava form comes out and does the job. So nobody could fight him. All the gods ran away. Nobody was there to save Daksha. Because they say Kala Bhairava is the most scariest. Nobody can beat him. Because he comes only when the Rudram form of Shiva comes out. Now, Kala Bhairava, you will find Kala Bhairava in every Shiva temple. He's the one guarding the temple. He's called the temple guardian. Make sure no asuras and nobody comes inside to disturb the sanctity. That is why the Lord put him there, in guard of every temple. So every temple has him outside. All the Shakti Pitams have him too. So when the Lord himself went and installed all the Shakti Pitams by himself, he went, because the body parts fell at every place, different areas. Over there, he went and installed a Pitam, and he put a Kala Bhairava outside. He said, nobody should come and disturb this. And all the Jyotirlingams also have Kala Bhairavas guarding the place. Now there are totally 12 Kala Ashtami in a year. Remember the 8th day I spoke about after Paurnami? So that is every month it happens, right? So there are 12 of them. And it's very auspicious, especially when it falls on Tuesday or Sunday. Even Sangadara Chaturthi is like that. Tuesday, Angaraka Chaturthi, we celebrate it with more enthusiasm. So the Tuesday is definitely, even for Kala Bhairava, it is the similar aspect. Now, what is a lunar month? After Paurnami, I'm going to explain this factor to you. After Paurnami, the moon wanes slowly, right? We all know the full moon keeps the big circle keeps waning. You've seen that, right? That period when it's getting smaller and smaller, the moon is getting smaller and smaller, that period is called Krishna Paksha. It's very easy to remember. Krishna is dark. So while the moon is getting darker and darker and smaller, that period is called the Krishna Paksha. And this is the period when Kala Ashtami falls. So after Paurnami, 8th day. So that is 8th day of the lunar phase. It's also called Krishna Paksha Ashtami because it falls on Krishna Paksha. That is the Kala Ashtami. You understood, right? It's pretty simple. Now, Krishna Paksha Ashtami during the month of Margari, that is when it comes in November to December, it's more auspicious. Okay. And that is when the Kala Bhairava Jayanti also falls. It falls during the same time. That is the day he emerged first. Okay. The first episode that I spoke about with Brahma. So that is the Kala Bhairava Jayanti. Now, devotees of Kala Bhairava begin the day with early morning bath and prayers. It's they're pretty serious about this. There are Bhairava followers. They always wear black. You'll see and you'll know. Mostly in Varanasi and of course a lot of other areas. So each month is divided into two pakshams, Krishna Paksham and Shukla Paksham. So Krishna Paksham, I told you already. After Paurnami, the Krishna Paksham starts. That is when the moon is going down. It's getting darker and darker and darker. And then the power of the moon also decreases when it goes darker and darker and darker. Now, Shukla Paksham, on the other hand, the period between new moon and full moon. New moon is Amavasya. Amavasya is no moon, right? Starts with the darkness. That is called Shukla Paksham, from Amavasya to the full moon. That is another 15 days, okay? From Amavasya to full moon. Paurnami. Amavasya to Paurnami. It's 15 days. Paksham in Sanskrit is side. Paksham is side. Okay, so two faces. So it has two sides. That is why we say Krishna Paksham, Shukla Paksham. And Shuklam is bright. Krishna is dark. So moon's energy is maximum during the Shukla Paksham time. And that's why during Kartigai Masam, especially Paurnami, people flock to Tiruvannamalai, taking a dip before sunrise. It's very key, auspicious. Before sunrise, because all the moon's energy is in that river, in the Tirtham. And you dip and you consume all that energy. It's very auspicious. That is why people flock to the temple, Tiruvannamalai, or any other temple during that time. Kartigai Masa, Paurnami. Very, very auspicious. Full moon, full energy. So they say, and of course you have to dip before sunrise. It's very clear to get the full benefit before sunrise. So 5 days before Paurnami, okay? That is the 10th day of Shukla Paksha. 5 days before Paurnami and 5 days after is most beneficial, they say. So 5 days before Paurnami and five days after is very powerful. The benefits, okay? Moon's energy is maximum during this period, they say. Now back to the 8th day after Paurnami, that is Kala Ashtami, during Krishna Paksha. If you write this down, you will understand. It's not that hard. Because anyway, after Paurnami is Krishna Paksha. Okay. So 8th day after Paurnami is Kalashta. Now let's go back to Kala Bhairavar, who came to Varanasi and the head dropped and he settled in Varanasi. He reached Varanasi and the head dropped. He got rid of the sins. So he decided to stay back there. He's mostly portrayed as a deity wearing a garland of skulls, human skulls. So whoever decides to stay in Varanasi, they have to take his permission. So because he's the guardian of Varanasi, nobody leaves that place without his permission. Nobody comes and settles in that place without his permission. So nobody can, you cannot just say, I'm going to go Varanasi and stay. You cannot do it unless he decides. He should give you that permission. So everybody, it's a norm that when you go to Varanasi, first go and do Namaskaram to Kala Bhairavar. Before even visiting Kashi Vishwanatha temple or Annapurni or anybody, first you go do Namaskaram to Kala Bhairavar, saying, thank you for getting me here. I want my rest of the journey to be successful with your blessings. And you start. This is how it's supposed to be. This is how it's written in our scriptures. Lord Shiva has given him that responsibility. So the gatekeeper is always very important. Without the gates opening, you can't do anything. If he closes the gate, what can we do? So first we do our offering and namaskarams to him. So Kala Bhairava temple is just 10 minutes away from Kashi Vishwanatha temple. So Kala Ashtami is grandly celebrated there. Very grand. It is a practice to offer sesame oil, flowers, and cloth, red cloth mainly, to the deity. He is seen seated on the Vahanam. That is the dog. His Vahanam is the dog. A lot of people call the dog Bhairavar, just so you know. So his Vahanam is the dog. And a black dog, to be specific. And he's seen holding a trident. The temple goes back yugams. Okay. But the renovation was done in the 17th century. It's a very old temple that was destroyed by the Islamists and then rebuilt again. So because he's the guardian, the gatekeeper of Varanasi, he has the right to punish anybody who enters Varanasi. We better be on guard. So he has the right because Lord has given him that responsibility. If you go there and we do we have to be on guard always. Even a little small thing, I don't think he's going to forgive. The temple has a silver idol of Kala Bhairav. Now there are 64 Bhairavas totally in all, out of which the 8 categories, main categories, is the leader Bhairavas. They're referred to as Ashtanga Bhairavas. And they are the ones who guard and control 8 directions of the universe. So they're the guardians, literally, guarding the 8 directions. I'll go over each one of them, one by one. I'll first name all the 8. Asitanga Bhairava, Ruru Bhairava, Chanda Bhairava, Krodha Bhairava, Unmata Bhairava, Kapala Bhairava, Bhishana Bhairava, and Samhara Bhairava. So these are the 8 Bhairavas that are the leader Bhairavas. Main. Okay. So Asitanga Bhairava, the first form of the Ashta Bhairavas, he has a golden hue, golden color. He has 4 arms, each with a weapon, a trishulam, damaru, pasham, and a sword. He rides a swan. His vahanam is a swan. His consort is goddess Brahmi. He faces the east. I told you directions, right? So he faces the east. Now he's the one that gives us the creative ability. If you're an artist, if you're anything to do with creativeness, this is the Bhairava that we have to hold on to. Asitanga Bhairava. Now Ruru Bhairava. He appears white, he's a fair complexion, decked with many ornaments, especially rubies, mostly rubies, red. He also has 4 arms, and he holds the elephant god. It's a kind of a weapon god which has a sword-like thing with a hook in the end. And he also he holds the deer. The significance of a deer is our mind. So he has the deer in control. Another form of Lord Shiva that comes to mind when I say this is Nataraja. If you have paid attention, he also holds a deer in his hand. And you'll wonder, why is he holding a deer? The significance is the deer signifies our mind, because deer cannot stand still. You have it's so unpredictable. You don't know which side a deer will run. You want to approach it this way so that it goes that way. You plan everything, but it'll go opposite direction. Just like our mind. So him holding the deer signifies he's in control of our mind. So he's the one we need to hold on to. And he rides the ox, Rishabha. So his Avahanam is the ox. And his consort is Maheshwari. And he stands facing southeast. Now, he's the divine educator. He's the Lord who spreads positivity and education. So if you are a teacher, if you are a person who's driven for knowledge, he's the one. Now, Sri Chanda Bhairava, the third form, he has a pleasant white, he's a fair complexion, 4 arms with weapons, sword, bow and arrow, and a Bhiksha bowl. He rides the peacock. Very similar to our Murugan. He looks, because the peacock stands behind him, he has that look. His consort is Devi Kaumari, and he stands facing south. He blesses one with energy to overcome enemies, rivals, and he gives us the confidence to win competitions. So, see how every Bhairava is very Very unique. Now, the fourth one is Krodha Bhairava. The fourth one, he's gray in color. He carries weapons just like our Lord Vishnu. Very similar. He has four arms carrying Shanga, Chakram, Gadam, and then a big Shabu. And his Vahanam is also very similar to Lord Vishnu. It's an eagle. It's like Garuda. Now his consort is goddess Vaishnavi. He stands facing southwest. Now he has the ability to grant one to lessen the effects of Shani Bhagavan. He has the ability to lessen the effect of Shani Bhagavan. So anybody has a Shani dosham, you're not a Shani or whatever, Shani, I've spoken about this during our Shani Bhagavan session. I urge you to go and listen to it, first of all, because I don't want any fears of Lord Shani. He is not scary at all. Please, you need to go and listen to that so that you don't come to Lord Bhairava and pray to him for Shani Bhagavan's lessening his thing and all. He can't do that. But yeah, but a lot of them say this Bhairava is so powerful, just like our Lord Ganesha and Lord Hanuman favors Shani. People who have the Shani dosham go and pray to Lord Ganesha and Lord Hanuman. The, the effects are more bearable, I could say, because you cannot beat or run away from karma. Okay, whatever you have to go through, you have to go through. And Shani Bhagavan has been given that responsibility. He's not a bad person. He's doing his duty. So, but yes, these gods are very powerful who can give you that anesthesia to go through it. It's a better way of putting it, right? So that is why we hold on to them. And also, he prevents arguments. My God, a lot of us need that. One small thing can just spring into other things. So I think we all have to. Yeah, he's very good. Krodha Bhairava. Okay, remember that. He will lessen the arguments in our lives. Fifth one, Sri Unmata Bhairava. He appears white with four arms again and Bhikshay Patram. He rides the horse. And his consort is my favorite, Varahi Amman. So his consort is Varahi Amman. He stands facing west. Now he's the one that controls speech and negative talk. My God. It's another precious one. A lot of us need that. A lot of us need to close our mouth. A lot of us need to tape it. So, Unmata Bhairava, right? Hold on to him tight. The sixth one is Sri Kapala Bhairava. He is yellow in color. He has four arms, three with the weapons, and then the fourth one holding the big shape bowl, patram. He rides the elephant. Now his consort is Indrani, and he standing facing the northwest. The seventh one is Sri Bhishana Bhairava. He's red in color. He has four arms, Trishulam. He has a lotus in his hands. Very unique. Kadkam is the sword and the Bhikshay Patra. He rides the lion. And his consort is goddess Chamundi. Wonder why he rides the lion, right? They both share the same one. He stands facing the north. Sri Samhara Bhairava. He's saffron in color. He's the eighth form. Saffron in color, 10 arms. Mighty. 10 arms. Shanga, Chakram, Damaru, all the gods' weapons are in his hands. Trishulam, Kapalagadam, Pasham, and then of course one has the Akshaya Patra, the Bhikshaya Patra. Ankusham and a long sword also. Oh my God. Amazing. And his consort is goddess Chandi. Chandi also has 10 arms. So they share that. And he stands facing northeast. He reduces the impact of past karmas, sins, and curses. His Vahanam is the dog. The most powerful 10 arms. His Vahanam is the dog. Now, you have an idea of all the 8 main Bhairavas. Now, the Mahaswarna Kala Bhairava is the controller of all the Bhairavas that I mentioned and all the 64 Bhairavas. So he's the controller of all of them. He's the supreme Godhead. So Kala Bhairava's consort is Bhairavi. So this is the Mahakala Bhairava, okay? Bhairavi. Avataram of Parvati, also Kali. Bhairavi is also Kali. Ba stands for creation. Ra stands for preservation. And Va stands for destruction. Now, he is all in one. Ultimate Godhead. See, creation, preservation, destruction. All together, combines all these 3 forces of the universe is Maha Swarna Kala Bhairava. During the month of Kartigai, people in Varanasi undertake an 8-day pilgrimage to the 8 temples of Ashta Bhairava starting after the Paurnami day. That is, after Paurnami, they start. And the 8th day is the Ashtami, right? The Kala Bhairava Ashtami. So that's the pilgrimage they take over. Because all the Bhairavas that I mentioned, the 8 Bhairavas, their temples are in Varanasi. Also. So they go visit those temples in those 8 days and come to the ultimate temple that I mentioned first of the main Kala Bhairava. And that is where the pilgrimage stops. Now, the deity in this temple, the main Bhairava temple, is covered in cloth and only the face is visible. Throughout the year, this is how it is. The cloth is removed to reveal the entire idol during the Kala Bhairava Jayanti, during the Kartigai Masa. It's beautiful. His image is decorated with a garland of silver skulls. Magnificent. Those who love skulls, this is your moment. Devotees throng to the temple in order to catch a glimpse of this powerful Lord. Now, Adi Shankara, my favorite avataram of Lord Shiva, Adi Shankara has composed a beautiful ashtakam in Sanskrit, depicting the qualities of Kala Bhairavar of Kashi. It's called the Kala Bhairava Ashtakam. It's beautiful. It goes to explain how powerful this avataram is, how his laughter can destroy and create. The Lord, it's funny how Lord Shiva himself takes an avataram and sings his own praise because no human can. No human can. Yeah, well, the words are beautiful. No human has the ability to do that. So Kala Bhairava Ashtakam also says many things, you know. It also says that he's the person who um, grants the 8 siddhis, Ashta siddhis, they say. That's powerful, that's intense. In the Ashtakam, one of the stanzas have that. He grants the 8 siddhis. देवराज सेव्यमान पावनानि पङ्कजम् व्यालयत्यसूत्रमिन्दु शेखरं कृपाकरम् नारदादियोगिवृन्द वन्दितं दिगम्बरम् काशिकापुरादिनाथ कालभैरवं भजे भानुकोटिभास्वरं भवादितारकं परम् नीलकण्ठलेप्सितार्थदायकं त्रिलोचनम् कालकालम् अम्बुजाक्ष अक्षशूलमाक्षरम् काशिकापुरादिनाथ कालभैरवं भजे. So these are the 2 stanzas. The meaning, of course, is beautiful. The first one that says Devaraja Sevyaman is to say that this Lord, who is whose lotus feet is revered by none other than Devaraja, that is the king of the Devas, Indra, Lord Indra, and who wears the snake around his waist. That is, Kala Bhairavar always wears a snake around his waist. If you saw all the Kala Bhairavas Ashtanga Bhairavas that I spoke about, they all have a snake around their waist. It's like one of the ornaments. Who has the moon on his head? Of course, Lord Shiva, form of Lord Shiva, so they carry the moon also on their head. Who is praised by the sage Narada, it says. All this Adi Shankara has stated. Can't be wrong. And all the other yogis who wears the sky as his cloth. No wonder when I see the sky, I see Lord Shiva there. Because the sky is Lord Shiva. And we've seen this many, many, many times even when I spoke about him and the Panchabhuta Sthalams. One of it is he representing the sky, right? So the Lord in Chidambaram. So that is one of his things. So he wears the sky, he says, Adi Shankara, as his dress. And Bhanu Koti, the second verse, I love it. His brilliance is like million suns. The brightness Bhanu Koti. Millions of suns is the brightness of Kala Bhairavar. He saves his devotees from circle of rebirths. And that's why they say, let me go to Varanasi and settle down there. So no rebirth. It doesn't work like that. Not everybody can. Only who has it in their head can settle down there. Even the people who are just about to die, they'll go there to die. They won't die there. They won't. Immediately they'll get the energy and they'll come back. And then they'll die. So it's funny. When you start planning things, it just doesn't work like that. So he's the one deciding. And who has got a blue throat, of course, the same aspect of Lord Shiva, who grants all our desires. And one of the verses, which I did not sing now, but one of them has the fact that he has the ability to grant the 8 siddhis. 8 siddhis are very powerful, very powerful. That shows how powerful he is. If he could grant the 8 siddhis, you can imagine how powerful he is. I'm going to state all the siddhis so that you get an idea. One is anima, is the ability to shrink one's body size. We say anemic, right? It's not that, okay, but that's where the word comes from. Anima is the ability to shrink one's body size, size to an atom. Now, one example, if I can give you, it's about Hanuman. He shrunk. He reduced his size in Lanka. He was the size of a bee. Zzz. He went all over the place, just to see and spy on Ravana, what he was doing, where he was, and to get a picture of the whole thing and where Sita Amma is and all that. So Hanuman did that. So he had the Siddhi. That's why he could do it. Who is Hanuman? Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is Hanuman. Now, the next Siddhi is Mahima. Just the opposite of Anima. Mahima is huge, larger than the largest. Okay. Lord Hanuman did this also. He did this also. He assumed this form and set the whole Lanka on fire. This is the form he assumed. And one more instance where I think of this form is when Lord Shiva, we did the Ganga episode. He assumed that form to take on that Ganga and the force of Ganga when she gushed out of heavens. So he took that form. The third one is Garima, ability to become very heavy. It's not like we putting on weight. Okay? This is by their own will. We put on weight without our will, right? So this is by their own will and to be immovable by anyone or anything. Okay? Again, best example is Hanuman because you all are familiar with it. So that's why I'm stating Hanuman. So when he twirled in his long tail and sat higher than Ravana, he wanted to, Ravana is so egoistic, right? So his chair, his throne is like way up there. Now what did Hanuman do? He twirled his tail and he sat higher than him. So he was looking down at Ravana and talking. Ravana was so angry. He told his soldiers, move him, push him out of there. Nobody could move him. Nobody could move him. That is the Garima Siddhi. So immovable by anybody or anything. So many soldiers, thousands and thousands of them came and tried to move him. Nobody could move him an inch. So that is the power of Hanuman. And yeah, and then what did they do? They didn't have any other thing to do, but they set the tail on fire. That's when they set the tail on fire because they're so angry they couldn't move him. They set his tail on fire and we know what happened. Now, Lagima comes from the word lagu, meaning small or light. We spoke about Garima, which is, ability to become very heavy and immovable. The opposite is Lagima, which means very small and weightless. Weightless. Making one's body weightless, that you can have the ability to fly. That is the power of this siddhi. Prapti is the ability to obtain anything, anywhere. We have seen that the gods can materialize anything. What do you want? Tell me, I'll give you. So that is the ability of the gods because they have the siddhi, which enables that. Prakanya, excuse me, is to obtain anything desired and to realize dreams. The person can read and tell what is in another person's mind instantly. And this power also has the power to live underwater and enter into another body whenever they want. Now, one instance that comes to my mind is when I spoke about Adi Shankara, I said, again, Lord Shiva. I told you, he entered into the body of a king to understand what is family life. So the power to enter another body. I also remember Sri Amma, our very own Ambal. When she was in the ICU, she came to see me as a bird. That's the ability to enter anything, anytime, anywhere. The power, the siddhi, the gods have. Isitwa, power of the lords, again. Absolute lordship over the entire universe, creation. So this power enables one to separate their soul from their body at their will. And only gods can do that. Now, Sri Amma, someone asked Sri Amma when she was in her physical form, Amma, do you also have a time like we all do when we have to leave? We already have a date fixed, all of us. So they asked her, do you also have a time like that? And she said, இல்ல நான் எப்போ வேணுமோ போயிடலாம். So that's the power of the Lord. She can go whenever she wants, and she did. Vasitva. To have anything under control, especially the 5 elements. 5 elements are not controllable. So again, this is a siddhi of the Lord's, where you can control 5 elements. Conquer all the beings in the universe. So that is Vasitva. And these are the 8 siddhis. And what did I say? Lord Adi Shankara, Sri Adi Shankara said that Kala Bhairavar has the ability to grant the Ashta Siddhis to anybody. I had to mention it because you had to understand what the Ashta Siddhis are. So that is the power of Kala Bhairavar. And with that, I end this beautiful session. I hope you all enjoyed it. Madhuri Charanam Jai Nandalana.